Breaking into the music business is a unique journey for everyone, but the love of the music and the culture is the connecting tie.
These are the untold stories of how Canada's most prominent Black entertainment professionals got started in an industry that never sleeps.
I'm Alicia Ace West.
And I'm Trezor.
Welcome to Season 4 of Amplify.
Reinvention is a trap if you're chasing everyone else's approval.
But what about when it's rooted in honesty?
You know what? I think that's when you outlast the algorithm. And in this episode, we explore how Black creatives in Canada are rewriting what it means to evolve, staying true while staying visible, and building careers that survive the scroll.
And that is how you change without disappearing.
Katrina Lopes is the president of KL Management and the founder of Mighty Music House. She doesn't chase the moment, she thinks bigger, building real connections, staying consistent, and creating careers that last.
I mean, you can't build a career on a moment, in my opinion. I think the goal should always be longevity. And longevity comes from building that one-on-one connection with your fans. So it really is building your career fan by fan. So I think it's great if you have a viral moment and trying to capitalize on it. But I don't think that that is the catapult for a long-term career.
Jemeni never aimed for relevance. She aimed for truth. When everything around you shifts, platforms, sounds, expectations, authenticity becomes the only currency that doesn't depreciate.
I think when it comes to staying relevant, I've never tried to maybe in radio when it's okay, we have to make sure we're doing this thing right now and we're on the pulse of what people are thinking about. But as far as me as a person and as a creative, I'm more trying to be honest than I'm trying to be relevant. I'm trying to be honest about who I am and where I am in life, you know what I mean? And what matters to me now. And the hope is that those people that have traveled with me, that's also what matters to them, you know? And of course, you stay up on what's going on. And sometimes I actually stay out of the news because that can be just so depressing. I mean, I know enough, you know what I mean? But I think it's just about being honest. And there are gonna be people who can't stand that. And again, these are relationships that I've nourished for over 20 years. So there's people who grew up with me, there's kids who grew up listening. And I think, I remember when we started, I always said, I don't want to have a radio voice. Who's that? Because I never wanted someone to meet me and then go, oh, you don't sound like, which was a weird thing when I started because everybody was like, hey, I'm Wolfman Jack. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I just wanted to be as real as possible. So I think it's for me about being real and vulnerable and open in the right now, which allows me to be relevant, or at least relevant to the people who are going through that same journey.
Change isn't the enemy. Losing yourself in it is.
What would I change about the current? I mean, it's hard because I think right now, it's just the way the scene is. Everything is social media, everything is phones. It is what it is. For me, I don't want to change it. I just want to see how I can take this and improve on it, if that makes sense. Because I feel like if I beat myself over the head to try to figure out how to change something that is happening, I can't get my sons off of their phones in an event. My nieces, they're doing Snapchat and TikTok and all kind of shit in this. What I gotta do? I could only do my best to try to encourage everybody to stay present in the moment. It would be amazing for the future generations if you ease off the phone a little bit. But, I saw my thing the other day where it said I was on the phone 11 hours a day, some nonsense. And that's more than, people's average day at work. So I know I need to work on that too, but it's how you communicate. You're always on your phone, you're messaging this, you're trying to figure that out. You're contacting this artist, oh, give me this song, I need this, So it's a lot, but I think if we could be present in the moment, it would help a lot more for the future generation.
Kwame knows the difference between curating a vibe and actually being present. Online, you perform. In real life, you connect.
I think in real life, if somebody is choosing to be there, they are open to experiencing their choice. I think online, the goal is to get somebody's attention within like the first 15 to 30 seconds. And that's not a choice. Like, if you get their attention, it's not because they looked you up, it's because it came across, right? So it's harder to keep them there because you don't know if they're there because they saw it, or it's not as much of a choice to them, right? Depends on if they click it, open it up, like that whole conversion of, you know, having somebody click, open it up, stay there, how long you keep them for. That's like a whole different thing. So I think it's like I don't know, it's a choice thing. Like if they've chosen to be there, I think it's gonna be easier to set that vibe with them. But if it's like by passing or because somebody else, like it's a bit tougher there.
Imani Walker is an award-winning journalist and the founder of Future People Media. She shoots her shot on social media, and it works.
One thing that I love about social media is that it gives you access to people and brands and places that you wouldn't have had access to before, right? And so with socials right now, if you wanted to shoot your shot with Apple, right, you really could make a video and encourage people to tag and comment and share. And you know, that's how you facilitate a conversation versus sending the email and having to wait 4 months for a response, right? So I've used social media to my advantage to kind of put myself out there, and I'm really, especially like this year, looking at what would my personal brand, like as a journalist in the media entertainment space, like what would that look like if I were to kind of dissolve the Canadian borders that like I think we kind of mentally place on ourselves. And so I began shooting my shot to Rolling Stone Africa and Culture Con, and I don't land every single opportunity, but I've so far have had a lot of my work be acknowledged and recognition, and also just expanding my online community as well, which has been great.
Caribbean Vibrations TV executive producer and founder Alain P. Arthur has been through rebrands, collaborations, and complete creative overhauls. But one thing that doesn't change is growth.
One of the things we're doing to not just survive, but try to thrive is we did a rebrand. A lot of people know us, like, you know, it's funny, I remember having a conversation with Patricia Jaggernaut. She's like, I used to watch you with my grandma. I'm like, okay, you know, and she knows the brand. But again, they associate it a certain way because it was done in that certain way. So now we have to be a bit more, I wouldn't say fresher, but just look at it from the standpoint, if I'm in my 30s or something like that, I consume content a different way. So now we've been actually to make content in certain different ways. So we do have like a TV side of certain things, and then we'll have content just geared totally towards social. So I think that's been the biggest difference, because before we would just make content and just put it out. Now we're like, no, there's actually, you got to do it for YouTube this way and this and that way. So we brought on some younger people, and we brought on some different staff to help us. The rebrand was a big thing, and then we had our first festival ever back in July at Harborfront Center. It was a great success because it got us a chance to reintroduce ourselves to a lot of people. So then they started following us and connecting with us, and then that's helped us a lot. So I think feedback from the audience, and then also realizing that things are consumed in a different way, is helping us to thrive and move forward.
Spex doesn't believe in gatekeeping. You can't evolve an industry while locking people out of it. Evolution dies behind closed doors.
It might sound weird coming from me, but the gatekeepers, and I know that I'm in a position where I have a strong hold on it, and you know, being as far as like the only person to play reggae and dancehall music on commercial radio in the whole of Canada. You know, some people might call me a gatekeeper and a person that, you know, can help to break artists or break artists. But, you know, there's a lot of gatekeepers within the business, and I find myself, I face a lot of them same way too, even though within Canada, I'm like a senior in the industry. But there's a lot of gatekeepers, you know, when it comes to the television, when it comes to the radio, when it comes to different aspects within the industry. So there's one thing I could change is, you know what I mean, finding a way to have a revolving door, you know, so that everybody has a say and everybody can play.
Power in the industry isn't given, it's claimed. Keziah's seen it firsthand. Artists stepping up, taking ownership, and redefining what control looks like on their terms.
The shift with being able to work with distributors outside of majors is that the artist centers themselves. And so if the artist centers themselves, they get to do what they want, how they want, and they're starting to piecemeal it together. The artist is not reliant on a structure that they have to fit into. Rather, the shift is, I can do it how I want to do it. I can make bank. I can get the bag. I'm actually going to partner with this brand or sync my music to this movie, and I can be self-sufficient.
For Katrina, mentorship isn't just a side note. It's the foundation, because reinvention isn't solo. It's passing knowledge forward, building bridges between generations, and making sure the next ones like myself don't have to start from scratch.
I think the through line for me is I am passionate about mentorship, and I'm passionate about supporting Black creatives or Black music professionals. So the through line in terms of like manifesto and Femme It Forward, I feel like they're aligned. Music Nova Scotia is because I specifically want to be involved in the success of Black music artists in Nova Scotia. So that's kind of the only place for me to do that. And I think it's really important to have someone in those rooms who can challenge what some of their, policies are, or what their procedures are. So that's really, I think, the only through line in terms of my board experience and my board roles.
Haviah Mighty keeps it real. Always moving, always creating. Caught in the hustle so many of us know too well. But here's the truth about growth. It's not just about the grind. It's about knowing when to pause.
We definitely don't do it enough. I would say that. We definitely don't do it enough because I think we are on a hamster wheel at times. But we do try to take moments where we can. So we might do dinners to celebrate something, or even sometimes when we have a release, we're working on something really, really hard, or we did a joint project. Let's get a crew to get our crew together and have a dinner so that we can celebrate what we went through. I think those small things are really important because it's just let's take note of the fact that we completed this thing that we set out to do. Yeah. I want to be able to stop and celebrate more, because I think that the small little wins, sometimes they do get brushed to the side, and it's no, that was you had to put in a lot of work to get to that stage, actually.
Emcee Ebone collaborates with brands, but he always considers how each opportunity shapes the culture.
100%. Yes. I did a lot of work at sometimes with Nike, Crown League, and being a Vanguard with my guy Shane Sterling. And it was crazy. As soon as I started working with Nike, all these other brands started reaching out. And I'll never forget my first check I got from Nike. When I looked at it, I said, oh my goodness, this is the money that people are giving out. And you have to understand that if a company give you these opportunities, working with another brand, that might be a conflict. And I found out recently, even if a next brand is coming up, you got to go back to the other brand. Wait, what incentives are you even giving me to make sure that I'm loyal to you, to make sure that I'm only going to be wearing Nike, or I'm only going to be in Nike commercials or Jordan commercials. So there's been lots of opportunities. I've missed out on some big bags. When I did the Burna Boy after party and concert here, I think 2 years or last year, it was I missed a big opportunity in the States. But me staying here, I got to actually perform with Burna Boy on stage, and that thing went viral. And I keep thinking, if I went to the bigger opportunity, I would have missed out on that. But I knew, being African and Ghanaian, this is my opportunity. I didn't know that was gonna come with it, but you gotta just stay true to your roots, and everything will work itself. So sometimes even a missed opportunity, it's just something that, they say, one closed door, another door will open up. So
the Black creatives shaping Canada's entertainment industry aren't just adapting, they're anchoring in honesty, in community, in the kind of authenticity that makes reinvention real.
Change is proof that you're growing, and these voices, they're proof that you can evolve without erasing who you are. Next time on Amplify, we step into the present, where visibility and representation collide with a bigger question: who gets seen and who decides?